I just detest rude, unladylike young ladies.
I hope you don't mind me being a tad rude.
I myself am strange and unusual.
Don't be rude.
That is some weird, wild stuff.
Shocking, isn't it?
It's a scandal!
But it's provocative.
Please stop making me blush.
Oh, here we are in Polite Society Chats. I'm going to do this NPR style. I'm Laura. And I am sitting in my driveway listening to every word because I'm not ready to go inside yet. Rachel. Oh, that's a great the driveway moment. That's a great way to be, Rachel. No, fuck that. I'm not going to be NPR. I'm in Polite Society, Laura. I'm like rock and roll and shit. Yeah, rock on. And this is the parts of the episode where we try to form This is what I get from drinking way too much even before we hit record. Try to form parasocial relationships with our listener outside of our episodes because we like to keep it tight, my friends. We're not going to force ourselves on you. We're going to put it out there in case you're interested, but we're not going to make you listen to it before you get some really good taboo research. High quality content. Yeah, right. We'll leave this low quality content out on the side, like on another plate at the next table. If you just want to sniff around, decide if you want to bite. It's on your side piece, and you just decide what you want to do with it. This is the side piece to the show. That's what we should call these. Society side pieces. Society side piece. Rachel, you have an admirer this week. I don't want to talk about it. Just kidding. I shouldn't have ever told you about it. I could have just deleted that comment. You would have, and I would have never seen it. Moved on with my life. It's not that I don't admire admirers or appreciate admirers. It was just the tone of the message was... And the fact that it came from a very old man. I'm popular with the old men. I always have been. Something about me. Same. I've always been popular with the older men too. So for the listener, we got some comment on some YouTube stuff. No, it's Facebook. It was on Facebook. Oh, it was Facebook. Where all people in my life can see it. Nobody's following Impolite Society. You don't have to follow. Meta is lumping all this shit together. Nobody saw it on Facebook. They are too busy trying to rage bait all of you people that are on there. And I got it in 25 minutes. I hemmed and hawed. Okay, you just say what it says because I don't even know. It got deleted. It was something along the lines of I want to spank your hot bottom. Yeah. Along those lines. And I'm not going to lie, Rachel, a little bit of part of me, I'm like, well, why not spank Laura's hot bottom? You had that gentleman on TikTok who would always respond to your TikTok and say, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I don't remember his name. It was like Chris or something. I know exactly who you're talking about. I would have 10 Chris's over one. I want to make your bottom as hot as you are. I mean, that's the thing, right? This is the YouTube, because I have no doubt that was the start, right? He saw us on YouTube and then made the jump to Facebook and then felt compelled to make that comment. I mean, he liked it too. And I think followed us. So yep. Who knows? I mean, here you go. As an admirer, we're happy to have you if you are here as an admirer of our work. Our bottoms are not your business. And it would be really disappointing. I think it's truly. I have a very disappointing. I mean, he is very concerned about your bottom, which I think is better than my bottom. But what makes a bottom better? They're just, you sit on them and they hold you upright. You know, a bubbliness. You've definitely got a bubbliness that I don't. I remember one time when I went to my high school. The one time I went to my high school. One day of classes. Done. Check. Graduated. Yeah, graduated. I could have because of how my high school. I know your high school. Fun fact about me is I was like the sole white kid in my class. You couldn't have been the sole one, but definitely the minority. Like 1 out of 10. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I just remember one day I'm standing by the vending machines and this guy next to me looks me up and down and goes, "You look kind of thick for a white girl." And I was like, I'd be like, "Go ahead, girl, go ahead, get down." And I'd be like, "Yeah, I am." I definitely took it as a compliment. As you should have.
But this was like the 2010, so it wasn't good to be thick yet. So I was also kind of like, oh.
But we all, yeah.
It's called being pear-shaped.
The natural shape of a woman. And I will put that down on, like, you want to put that on my tombstone. People are like, no, the natural shape of a woman is an hourglass. No, fuck that. It is not. It is maybe the idealized, quote unquote, version of a woman, but the natural shape of a woman is a pear shape, and it's beautiful. And I am envious of any woman who's pear shaped because I am apple shaped. Like the middle section is, you know, substantial. I would much rather my booty be more substantial.
Everybody
Check your
wants to be
privilege,
something
Rachel.
else. You know,
Check your
I
privilege.
think the shape that most suits a woman is an oval for the Oval Office. So,
Oh, snap. Always taking it up a notch.
yeah, I like, how can I make myself as unappealing to men so that I don't get any more comments like that? Which leads me to the thing I wanted to ask you tonight. Is like, would you still be my friend and be seen with me in public if I started dressing like an absolute lunatic? And
Of
by
course.
lunatic, I mean specifically, I want to start wearing historical clothes in public.
Yes, I'd absolutely still be hanging out with you in public.
That's
Why?
like my dream.
Do it. I would 100% support you. I will stand next to you and hold your
Bustle.
historical dress bustle. Exactly. I will hold your bustle.
I just, this not having a job is just going to make me weirder and weirder as time goes on.
I love it. I love people who commit to weird shit. Like that popcorn thing that I sent you.
Oh, yeah, the popcorn display, collecting the popcorn tins.
Yeah.
But some places have memorabilia, like it's a memorabilia thing. They make commemorative popcorn tubs.
Yeah.
Movies and stuff.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's actually big business for like AMC and shit nowadays. They like do like special edition versions. But yeah, it was a posting I saw on Facebook where somebody was selling their popcorn bowl collection. There were 69 of them, which I thought was funny. And
The perfect time to stop the collection.
it made me laugh because it made me think of Jack from 30 Rock and his cookie jar collection. And I'm just saying, I like people who are fucking weird and don't care. So yes, I will hold your bustle.
Okay, good. I was looking at some stuff. It's just hard to tell because everything's AI. Like online, it's hard to buy clothes 'cause you don't know exactly.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're going to get anymore. It's tough. I'm going to get a sewing machine. I want to learn how to sew. I'll make my own historical clothes.
I would love to learn how to sew. I mean, I know how to mend. I don't know how to make.
I tell myself it can't be that hard because everybody used to do it, right? For the most part, everybody would do it.
True.
Am I going to be some expert? No. Can I maybe make something that I and or my children can wear for a summer without looking ridiculous? Maybe.
I think you can hit that bar. I think that's a fair bar.
And you can get a sewing machine. You can check it out from the library. Fun fact.
Do you not have a sewing machine?
No.
Oh.
I could get one, but I
have no idea where I even got mine. It's like, it is kind of behind me right now. It's behind there. Can you see that?
Yeah, a little bit, I think.
Yeah. It's got a sewing board in front of it because I asked for one for Christmas because I'm going to make some bed sheets.
Oh. I never even thought about making a bed sheet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pillowcases from an old bed sheet.
Oh.
Where, because my husband sweats and he's nasty and his side ripped. And I was like, but my side is still nice. This is a lot of nice fabric. And I was like, I'm going to make
the sweating what causes sheets to rip?
It is. I learned this by looking online because I was going down a rabbit hole, right? Looking at sheets and like what makes a good sheet and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I ended up on this thread. Yes. So the more like sweaty or dirty you are and it like grinds it down into the threading. And if you're not a regular sheet changer, I'm not a regular sheet changer. It degrades. It degrades the fabric, and so long giant rip on his side of the bed. And it's not that he's nasty. He's not. He also sleeps sans clothing, so his clothing doesn't soak up all of his night
Maybe
sweat.
he needs to get like an Ebenezer Scrooge nightgown. That would probably.
He won't wear it.
Wouldn't that be the same kind of feel?
No. Well, you would think you're right, because then it'd be like loose.
Yeah, it's like just having an extra sheet.
I don't know.
Which
in marriage, you pick your battles, Rachel, and how my husband sleeps is not a part of the battles I'm willing to.
Yeah. Well, that is interesting because we also had a sheet with a big rip in it, and I just blamed it on the dog, like a toenail.
Whose
or
side was it
something.
on? Was it Dan's?
If I don't know, the sheet moved. It didn't stay in one spot forever. It got taken off and
That's
washed
true.
and put
Washed
back
and put
on.
back. Well, I just assumed.
Not on Dan's side because I
Well,
wasn't going to
actually-
sleep on it.
What size bed do you have?
We used to have a queen, and now we have a California king, baby.
So if you had a queen, it was probably on the same side because it can only go two ways, right?
Yeah.
So like 50-50, it's going either on your side or his side, your side or his
Well,
side.
I'm telling you, we used to put it on his side because I didn't want to sleep on it.
There you go.
So there you go. And if this isn't convincing you to be our parasocial friend, I don't know what is. Because this is some quality content.
Sheet talk.
Sheet talk. Sheet society. Impolite
Society
sheet.
sheet. I like that. Society
Sheet talking. Did you say that already? Did I just repeat your joke?
I mean, no, it's like a iteration. We were doing it great.
Yeah, we're going to sheet talk all over you.
Okay. I do have something semi-legitimate that I wanted to talk about today. And that was glitter.
I thought it was going to be brains.
Oh, shit.
I thought you
Wait a
changed it right before we started.
I did. Okay, but I do have something.
That was not yes and of me. I'm going to talk about glitter. You're not. By the way.
I did
False.
change it. All right. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about today, because we decided that us just like randomly shooting the shit was probably not the best use of
You don't
our
want more
listeners'
sheet
time.
talk?
So we decided to come to the table with something semi-educational or interesting. So, and these just come up, right in the course of your daily life. And this one was me watching Forensic Files, and it was the murder of Peter Porco. Peter Porco, I'm not going to go into all the details because there's only one specific part that I want to get into. And the fact that he was sleeping and he was attacked while sleeping. And he was hit, I think, about 17 times in the head with an axe.
Ouch.
And, oh, God, it turns out that it was actually his son. It's pretty awful.
Why wouldn't it be his son?
Yeah.
It's always somebody in the family for the most part.
Truly, it usually is. 17 times in the head with an axe. So he was down and out, right? But eventually, after a few hours, he woke up after his injuries and his body went into like autopilot because it was morning. So he got up, he went downstairs, he cooked his breakfast.
Holy shit.
Started coffee. He went outside, got his paper, accidentally locked himself out, remembered where the key was, dug his key out from underneath the mat and opened the door back to his house, and then collapsed from blood loss and died.
That's insane.
It is, right? And so the Forensic Files episode that I was watching, they don't go super into the weeds on Forensic Files, though I wish that they would because that's what kind of person I am, right? They said basically, thinking about an axe and swinging, you got to get through a hard-ass skull first.
Yeah.
And so it can only go so deep into the brain. And what they think happened was that basically his cerebral cortex, his outer brain, was decimated by the 17 axe blows. But his lower brain, core brain, like closer to the cerebellums, closer to the brainstem, had pretty much taken over in doing those routine items. And I was like, holy shit, it just really fucking stuck with me, man.
So do you think that if he had realized what was happening and gone for help, like could he have survived, or was it just like death going to be the outcome regardless, or vegetation?
I'm not a doctor. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I really don't know. But I just kept thinking about it, about your core brain and about how important that is, and that however much we think that like society changes and we're all different and that's all in that upper brain, your core brain is like it's your ancient self and it never changes. And then I think about just like such a bizarre, macabre scene it is, in the sense of like you have no idea what's going on. You don't recognize the blood pouring from your head as you cook your eggs, and like how terrifying that is.
Yeah. It makes me wonder, how far would I get in my morning routine before I run out of steam?
Yeah.
Like how far can my muscle memory carry me? Because I don't think it's that far. I don't think I would have done as good.
Well, you have a lot more variability in your day,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was awful. Obviously, it's a really sad story, but it's also just like really stuck with me. And also, like, I'm like, I want to write a short story about it. I don't write anymore, but if I did, I
Like from his perspective of what it was like,
keep
do it.
thinking about it.
You
I
have
don't write
Fridays
anymore,
off.
man.
Sit down, write a story. That's
Not
what
a
I would
bad
do with the
idea.
day off. That's what I'll...
There you go.
Yeah.
I got to get out of the house, though. I'll go to a coffee shop and I'll write about poor Peter.
Yep. Would that count as a fan fiction? Sorry.
Maybe.
Because it's about a real person. I have
Yeah.
an idea for a fan fiction that I think is like top tier. I just actually have to write it.
Okay.
And it's like going to be my introduction back into writing, because you don't have to work that hard. You just already use all the pieces.
Oh, it's so great. That's
Yeah.
why fanfic is the best.
Yep. So that's on my to-do list, between
What are you gonna
producing
write
2
about? What are you gonna
podcasts.
write about?
I'm going to tell you after the air.
Oh,
I don't want somebody to steal my idea.
damn.
That could be a real book these days, as I'm learning. Fanfic
You can
could
make
be
some real money.
the way to authorship.
To fame.
Well, that is an interesting story. It's fascinating, and it brings back so much of what we've talked about, right?
Mhm.
From like the brain injuries to even alcohol, where you can function, right, as a
Yep.
blackout drunk because the higher brain isn't working. And but the rest of it is. You can
Yep.
technically you could drive a car even.
Yeah, not well.
Right.
Remember, key, ignition, start, drive, go.
Yeah, you
You
can
know?
do all that without being able to create any memories.
Yeah.
And it reminds me, it's like, it's surprising, but it's also not that surprising, because we learned about that guy who had no functioning memory,
Yep.
but he could do stuff.
And he could learn new stuff. As
Right.
a matter of fact.
Brains.
He could, bring it down. Bring it down to that base level that wasn't affected by the part of his that was removed. It's
Yeah.
weird. Brains are nuts.
It
I'm
is.
very into the brain right now.
It's been, I think 2025 is going to be the year of the brain for our content, because I think this specific story can come up again in the research that I'm working on for the episode that we're going to record after this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I talked about when we were texting about this story.
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting. I love this podcast. The last couple episodes that we've recorded, yours and mine, I've been very proud of. And I've even been telling my parents, I'm like, the next 4 episodes aren't about sex. I'm like, you can listen to
Yeah. You could do all of these. It's pretty like we're evolving, maybe away from, maybe that's just the next iteration. I don't know. Do we need to bring back the adult babies every once in a while to like
bringing people back.
Yeah, have something
Based on our downloads, yes.
Yeah. Womp womp. But nobody's ever saying that they want to spank my brain. So that's like a perk, I guess.
I want to spank your brain, Rachel. It's so naughty.
That's how I get it started every day. I'm like, come on, wake up, wake up, wake up. Get up. It's time to go. Well, that's interesting, because one of the things that I learned this week is also about brains, and it's
Ooh.
also about history.
Ooh.
And it's also about Reformation in the Renaissance in England. So, click. Have you ever heard the term townie?
Yeah, like you're the local, like, you're
Yeah.
a townie. You're not, I usually think of it in a university perspective. Yeah, like, you're a townie. You're not here to be in college. You're, for some reason, native to this area.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You want to know how old that phrase is, or that
Yes.
expression is? It literally goes back to medieval England. So the origin of it is town and gown. which is a phrase that talks about the people who live in the town and the gowns that academic students would wear at the colleges of Cambridge and Oxford.
Oh.
So, like, talking about university and town relations has been something that's been going on since the Middle Ages because they've been butting heads since then. And the gown is important to call out because back in that day, the universities were considered part of the monasteries. It was part of the religious order. So they're wearing robes because, you know, they're part of the religion there. And so these kids, which they're still young men, right? They go out and they interact with people in the pubs. They get rowdy. They get drunk. This is
And
where
they think they're so fucking great.
Yep. There's where the friction comes from. But add on the fact that because they were a part of the clergy, technically, they weren't a part of the common law, right? They weren't going to be tried and
They're
held
above it
accountable.
all.
Yeah, they had to answer to the church. So if you got in trouble for scrapping with the locals or creating shenanigans and mischief, you weren't going to have to answer to the people of the town. You just got a slap on the wrist from the dean or whatever and got to go on about creating trouble. So that's as far back as the term townie goes and as far back as college kids and those townies have been not getting along for 500-600 years.
That's so interesting. Also, yeah, just goes to show you, youths,
they're never good. Send them to war.
Fuck them.
Get them out of my bar. Put them in a trench.
Where did you hear that?
I heard it on, not sponsor of today's episode, History is my new streaming service that I have that I use to stream history documentaries.
I'm going to see that as a lot of potential inspiration for content.
Well, if I ever stop listening things about the Tudors, I mean, But no, that's when I learned specifically within the docuseries they were doing about the dissolution of the monasteries.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, because another idea I had for a book that somebody should write is about, I feel like there's so many good stories in history that you just never hear because why are there like 1,000 books about Anne Boleyn, right? We all got the gist of that story. But she has a cousin-in-law who was in a nunnery and was running around, had 2 kids, had all these affairs.
Get thee to a nunnery.
Yeah, she had 2 different kids with different priests. Lived with somebody as their mistress for a while. And she's just out here doing her own thing. She said, I don't need to get married. I'm going to be a nun. I'm going to live the life I want to live.
I'm going to be a nun and be a
because,
hoe.
not all the religious
And I mean
houses,
that in a good way.
Yeah, not all the religious houses were like very scrupulous, which is part of the reason that they decided
because I would imagine
Henry VIII and Cromwell decided to just like take them apart.
Well, I imagine it had something to do with not necessarily religion, but more had to do with class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because when you had more children than you had the business to maintain, right? So you couldn't pay that many dowries. You had like a couple sons. You're like, oh, I don't need the spare anymore. I have the heir. You just send them to the church.
Monastery, yeah. Take them to deal with it.
Yep. You belong to the religious life.
And is that why religion is like such a powerful force, right? Because the rich sent their kids there and they're like, shit, we got to do fucking something.
Well, everybody, there was people who came in from all different lifestyles, but typically it was from the higher families, the peerage, that were able to rise through the higher ranks and hold positions of power within the church. So the class system still worked in there too. Yeah. Like you could be a Joe Schmo priest, but you're not going to become the cardinal.
You're not going to
unless you're Cardinal Wolsey, who was a butcher's son.
Ooh, good for him.
Yeah, he was a big deal until he died. I mean, that's kind of what happened then.
Yeah.
You get too close to the king.
35?
No, he was an older man, but like you get too close to the king, eventually you're going to piss off the king and then you're going to lose your head.
Oh.
Not Cardinal Wolsey, but many of his other advisors. See, I'm deep in the Tudor trenches.
You clearly are. Did you watch Wolf Hall season 2, the whole thing?
It's not out yet in America, is it?
I don't know. I haven't
you
watched
watch
it yet. No, I just knew that it was coming out. And
March 31st, if I just, off the top of my head. Not that I'm counting down the days or anything.
I just know I watched Wolf Hall way back, not when it aired, but I mean, that show came out a good long while ago.
I think it was 2015. It's been 10 years to release the second half.
And I watched it strictly because of Damian Lewis, because he is one of my top celebrity men. And, I enjoyed it. And I was like, when is season 2 coming? Tick, 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 tick. 10 years later.
Yep, that's pretty much how it works. And the author is dead now. I don't know when she died of the Wolf Hall series, but she's definitely dead now. I think it might have been after the first season.
Well, thank God she got to see Damian Lewis in his prime.
Yeah.
Henry VIII. That red hair, man.
I just can't get behind anybody.
Did you ever watch Band of Brothers?
No.
Mm.
I don't want to be traumatized. Thank you.
No, it's not about being traumatized.
It's just because it's real and it's recent, and I just can't.
Very real.
Yeah, I just don't want to.
I just want to hug every single one of them.
And
brings out a maternal side.
Yeah, get those boys in those trenches, and they come back perfect.
I feel a lot less
empathetic about that. Yeah.
Shit got a lot more serious real fast.
Well, at least they wouldn't be complaining on Reddit after that. So
yeah, God, at least. And at least if they were, they'd have something real to be complaining about.
As it goes, the people who have the biggest problems are usually the ones who complain the least. So maybe factor that in when you hear how much you're complaining.
Yep. I agree.
The pendulum swings, right? And we went from, oh my gosh, everybody's so special. Everybody's like, oh, all your feelings are valid. And we're going to end up back on the other side of toughen up, kid.
Yeah. Rub some dirt on it.
Yeah, I feel like we're coming back down. So we'll see.
God, I hope so. Because the pendulum has swung too far, my friend.
Hey, it's what it does.
It's what it do. What it do. All right. Well, I think we can wrap this one up. What do you think?
Yeah, we got to go talk about sheets more and other linens and such.
Talk. Society Sheets with Laura and Rachel.
Oh, sheet. It's Society Chats.
All right, guys. Catch you next time. Your assignment as a listener, don't share this episode. If you're going to share an episode, pick the latest episode that you think your friends would enjoy. Send them around. Tell them to check out these ladies, because Nobody Podcasts is the only way we grow. It's all on you. It's all on you, sisters and brothers of this society. And that's all I got.
Yep. Send us your ideas for rude topics. Tell us all your linen tips so we can be better people. And don't forget to wash your sheets.
Bye.
Bye. See, I kept referencing it, so there's no way we can edit that part out now.